All right. So, I forgot. I have to start with a story. Famous Chacham, Rabbi Shmuel Laniado. Rabbi Shmuel Laniado lived 450 years ago. He was at the same time as Rabbi Yosef Karo, Maram Bet Yosef. He was one of the people that had to escape Spain during the time of the Spanish Inquisition. So one time he was in a ship, and one of the non-Jewish passengers died during the voyage, and the captain of the ship decided he's going to sell whatever this person has. What are they going to do with it? They're going to make a public auction. And sure enough, everybody jumped and they bought whatever he had. There was just a can of fish, whatever, a can with fish in it, that nobody wanted to buy. Rabbi Shmuel Laniado was there, and he said, fish for a kavod of Shabbat, and he had it in minhag, always, definitely to have fish for the kavod of Shabbat, and he went and paid like pennies for it. So he takes it to his corner where he was. He opened it up, there was fish. Underneath the fish was filled with precious stones. And this is actually how Rabbi Shmuel Laniado became extremely wealthy. And he built a lot of different things. This is a famous Rabbi Shmuel Laniado from the Laniado family, who is a tradition of Chachamim. Many, his children, his grandchildren, to this day, the Laniado family is there. One of the cities in Syria, in fact, they asked for a Rav. They sent a letter for Rabbi Yosef Karo that he should come from Tzfat to Israel, to them, to Syria, to Aram Sova, to be the Rav. And he says he wasn't able to do it. He told them, take Rabbi Shmuel Laniado. He says, I'll send you him. He is like me. So that was him. And he was a great tzaddik. He was known. A lot of stories that they have from Rabbi Shmuel Laniado was amazing, things. Leftover from last week, just two more halachot. We discussed what we could give a goy to do, and he might. Hi, Baruchim Habayim.
Looking upstairs.
Oh, sorry, it's downstairs. So one of the things, we were discussing, giving things to do to the goy to do before Shabbat, and one was we said giving a clothing to tailor, different things to do, and we said that is fine, even though we know that he's going to do it on Shabbat. That's fine, right? You're not telling him to do anything. And he's doing it for himself because he wants to make money. He's not doing it in the Jewish home. There were 3 conditions, and if the 3 conditions are met, 1, he's doing it in his own home. 2, you're not telling him to do it directly on Shabbat. And number 3 was that you tell him that you will pay him. Right? So therefore, it turns out it will be that he's doing it for his own benefit, which is the objective. He's not doing it for you, and that'll cover the 3 things that we have. The same idea, you want to give your car to the mechanic on Friday, right before Shabbat. You tell him, listen, Mustafa, I want this car ready on Mosei Shabbat. I gotta go. And that's fine. Even though you know that he's not going to have, the only time he's going to be able to work on this car is on Shabbat, that's okay.
I thought you said you tell them not to do it on.
No, the condition, you don't have to tell him not to. Don't tell him to do it on Shabbat. Right? As long as you don't tell him to do it on Shabbat, you're fine. Right? Tell him you're going to pay him, and again, he's doing it in his shop anyway, which is fine. Ashkenazim are machmir on this. Right? Unless there is time before Shabbat for him to do it, that means you leave him a window, they wouldn't give it to him. Right? If you could do it on Sunday or whatever. But according to Maran, that is okay. Another thing is, you want to, let's say, you want to rent to a goy on Friday your kelim. Let's say you have a sewing machine, you have a computer, My computer doesn't work. You have a electric saw, electric drill, whatever it is. All these sort of things, you want to give it to him, even though you know he needs it for Shabbat. You are allowed to give it to him. The reason is because we are not commanded that our kelim, our vessels, our utensils should be shovet on Shabbat. This is only for us, right? For a Jew, you can't hire a Jew to be your babysitter just on Shabbat, right? You want to go somewhere, you need a babysitter. For Shabbat, then we said that you could do it behavla'a. That means they do other things for you during the week, or a waiter that's working for a catering, Jewish waiter working for a catering. These are the things that they have to do physically that a person does. That would be sachar Shabbat, paying them for Shabbat. That would be a problem. But if you are just giving a goy your, these tools and these things to use, even though he's going to be using it on Shabbat, that is fine, right? Also, mentioned before, to rent out a cow. You have a cow and the goy is going to use it on Shabbat, that's asur. Torah commanded that, our animals cannot be working on Shabbat, and that would be asur. So that's in the gist. I just wanted to wrap up anything that we have to, under normal circumstances, we want to deal with goyim on Shabbat. This is just on the, of course, very short halachot. Now we're going to start all over. Not all over the melachot, but preparations for Shabbat, the different halachot, miscellaneous halachot that have to do with the onik Shabbat, kavod of Shabbat, and preparations for Shabbat. Some little things here and there that we'll discuss. First of all, it says in the Torah, not in the Torah, in Navi Yeshaya, it says, Im tashib mishabbat reglecha, atzot chafasecha b'yom kodshi, v'karate l'Shabbat oneg, right? And then the Gemara says, v'chibato ma'asot mimetzor chafatzecha v'daber davar. V'chibato ma'asot chafatzecha, something like that. Yeah, we say it in Kiddush, what? No, hold on a second. I'll get it right this time. אם תשיב משבת עצות חפציך ביום קודשי, וקראתי לשבת עונג, לקדוש השם מכובד, וחיבתו מעצות דרכיך, ממצוא חפצך, ודבר דבר. So there is a concept of that we shouldn't do certain things on Shabbat. Like our speech has to be different on Shabbat. And we have to call upon Shabbat for oneg. There's a lot of halachot that they learn from this pasuk. But it has to be Shabbat is pleasurable. And you have to also, v'chibato, that means we have to give kavod. We have to do things that they will bring kavod for Shabbat. So number one, we have to make sure to know what would be kavod, pleasure for everyone in the family. Like, if you have to make sure, the kids like what you're giving them on Shabbat. Like, let's say a lot of people, they buy nosh, they buy different things. Nosh in Yiddish means right? Treats, right? And it's good for adults. Also, it's good. This way, on Shabbat we're going to be missing a lot of berachot. As you know, David HaMelech made a takana that every person should say 100 berachot every day. During for men at least, during the week is not a problem. Like every tefillah, we already have almost 60 berachot, 70 berachot. Every Shemona answer is 19, so you have 3 of that. And then you have the rest of the tefillah, Birkot HaShachar, that's 20. And then in the course of the tefillah, you eat something, this, that. We get there. You have to make a calculation. Some say for women also there's an obligation to do. So for women it's tough because you don't have to pray 3 times a day. One time a day is enough. So then you're missing already a lot. It's kind of tough, but a person should try to do this. And on Shabbat it gets tough. So that's why a person should prepare from before. A person should prepare different things, food items, and also things to smell. I'll never forget, Rabbi told us one time where it was on his wife's yortzeit, her 10th yortzeit. We were there, so he was telling us that she would always prepare for him different berachot of atzeh b'samim, isbeh b'samim, before Shabbat, always, every Shabbat. She had a little flower pot with these things that she grew, and before Shabbat she would cut them, prepare them. because every time we go in and out, he would make a baracha. He said, after she passed away, he said, these things died. There was nothing. He said, and he was busy learning, and he wanted to make a baracha, there was nothing. He said, Sunday morning, the gardener in Harnof came running to his house. He says, Mechila, forgive me, please. I said, what happened to you? He says, your wife came to my dream last night. He says, don't you know? Harav, he needs to make barachot. Why don't you go take care of him? He said, please forgive me. And that was it. From there on, he took care of it. He said, you see, my wife is watching over me, even now. That's what he used to say. Oh, he said a lot of spooky stories that night. It was like, wow, this was nothing. Maybe a different time. Maybe I'll save the stories for next time. But no, this was related to Shabbat. It was like amazing. We were all like, anyhow, so we have to make sure, like, we have enough things to say the barachot. Like, he said like, when you finish the meal, say Birkat Hamazon, say again, find something, Borei Minei Mezonot, Borei Peri Ha'etz, Borei Peri Ha'adama, Shehakol, and then go out of the house, come back in, you could do it again, like, in the morning, in the afternoon, all the time, like, it's, you gotta make sure it's 100. Now, we have to make sure, just like we have to have oneg, we have to have pleasure on Shabbat, we also have to make sure that we don't have tsar, we don't have we don't get depressed, we're not doing things that will have pain and, let's say it's cold, right? And the person is cold, so make sure you wear slippers. Like, it's brought down in halakha that on Shabbat, the person shouldn't let himself be cold or be suffering. Like, or if it's hot and he can't take the heat, make sure that for the kavod of Shabbat, you have comfort, like, air conditioning, whatever it is, right? Also, the person should do things that will bring him joy and happiness and relaxation, right? And do that, of course, as long as it's within the realm of the halakha. Shouldn't read things that would bring him sadness. Like, sometimes, they give up papers, like, Holocaust stories, I don't know, these things, and a person gets sad. Not for Shabbat. Certainly not for Shabbat. A person should not read these stuff for Shabbat. Besides, Zohar HaKadosh writes a lot about this. It says, Kol HaKoes, whoever gets angry on Shabbat, it's as if they lit up the fire of Gehinnom. That's what it says. Lo teva'aru esh b'chol moshavotechem, do not kindle a fire wherever you dwell, and that is, the Zohar HaKadosh says, that's talking about getting angry. Imagine it says a person that gets angry on Shabbat is Mechal Shabbat. So, this is how much we have to stay away from it. And the Satan tries and tries and tries and tries to get us. And okay, so that's as far as that. That means we have to prepare in advance. As far as the kavod of Shabbat, a person, okay, so in the halachot, the poskim bring down that a person should prepare, buy, and cook everything for Shabbat on Friday. Why? Because then it shows that you're doing it for Shabbat. However, it's hard. Let's say you have to wait on long lines. Let's say, you want to prepare food that'll take a little bit longer, and so on and so forth. Or there's no time. The days are short. It's a winter and the days are short. Or a person is at work. It's impossible for them to do it on Friday. Then a person could do it earlier. Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, whatever it is, But the best thing is to say, Lichvot Shabbat Kodesh. You're going shopping, say it's for Kavod Shabbat Kodesh. How? But Ben Ish Chai writes that when a person does that, he brings the Kedusha of Shabbat onto whatever it is that he's doing. Right? Just, you're in the store, you're about to say, I remember in Eretz Yisrael, in Machne Yehuda, there was this fruit vendor, he had a big sign. Right about when you were about to pay, he says, say Lichvot Shabbat. It's only Israel. He would remind everyone, doesn't matter, you were religious, secular, whatever it was, he would tell them, say Lichvot Shabbat Kodesh, So, but also, when you're preparing the food, you're preparing, whatever it is that a person is preparing, he says, I'm doing it for the kavod of Shabbat, so even with his speech, he's giving kavod for Shabbat. It's brought down in halakha that it is, in the Gemara actually, it says that a person should tidy up the home, clean it up, and make sure everything is neat for the kavod of Shabbat. Imagine there's a very, very, very important guest coming into your house. That is Shabbat, the queen, right? And even though, you have, throughout the week, you have a beautiful tablecloth on the table, you need to have a nicer one for Shabbat. and change it. Don't say, this is a nice one, I'll just use the same thing for Shabbat. No, there has to be a special one for Shabbat. It is a kavod for Shabbat to enter Shabbat when a person is hungry, wants to eat. Why? Because it would be disrespectful. Like, imagine Shabbat is coming and you made a meal for Shabbat, for the honor of Shabbat, and you say, you know what, I'm not in the mood, I don't have the appetite. That is not proper. For the same reason, a person shouldn't fast on Friday, because sometimes when a person fasts, then he loses his appetite when it comes time to eat. He won't have the appetite, just eat a little bit and that's it. So we have to do it in a way, a little bit during the day. Every person knows themselves, how they operate. And so therefore, one should try and see what would work best, so that this way they would be able to have and enjoy the Seudah of Shabbat. If a person needs to take a nap on Friday afternoon, do it. Imagine everybody's sitting by the meal and they're all falling asleep. That's not good. I don't practice what I preach, but it says, I was just telling someone, I remember in yeshiva, the person, every Friday he would take a nap, no matter what. So I saw the person, right then when I was talking about him, I saw him, was passing by me, last week. I said, are you still doing this on Fridays? He said, of course, I'm still doing it, yeah.
How could you fall asleep when you have a million things on your mind?
That's the thing. We're gonna get to that. We have to do it in a way. We have to plan it in a way that this shouldn't happen. That we have to have create a calm atmosphere. L'chvod Shabbat. I'm saying it for myself also. Not kidding. This is what we should do. Be'ezrat Hashem. Now, as a result of the halakha that we said, so a person should not be koveya as seudah. That means to make a festive meal on Friday, right? Even though every day at 2 o'clock he eats like a king, with his buddies and friends. On Fridays he should not do this, especially after the 9th hour. 9th hour is the time of mincha, right? Mincha ketana. Right? There's 2 times for mincha. One is called mincha gedola. One is called mincha ketana. Mincha gedola is at the 6.5 hour. That means let's say midday. The days are perfect. 6 o'clock is sunrise, 6 o'clock is sunset. So 12 o'clock would be midday and midnight. Same thing, right? So 12:30 starts the time of mincha gedola. Why is it called mincha gedola? Because that's a bigger time. Then there's mincha ketana, which is on the 9th hour. 9th hour would be 3 o'clock in our example. So 3 o'clock would be the 9th hour of the day. First hour is at 6. At 7 o'clock is the first hour is finished, and you move on by 3 o'clock. So 3 o'clock is the time of mincha ketana. After that, the person should not make a big festive seudah, right? Now, if it's a seudah of mitzvah, like a seudah of Brit Milah, that is allowed, right? Brit Milah, today is the day to do it, so therefore, it's a seudah mitzvah at a proper time that is allowed to do on Friday, no problem. Also, pidyon haben, if the 30th day after the birth of that firstborn boy works out to be on that Friday, and they make a seudah, this is called a seudat mitzvah, very important seudat mitzvah, and if they have to do it on time. A bar mitzvah, a boy's birthday is on Friday, right? That becomes his bar mitzvah, the day that he becomes obligated to do a mitzvah, and they want to make a seudah, they could do it on Friday, no problem. However, best thing that a person should try to do as early in the day as possible. This way, again, we could have the cake and eat it too. No, not that way. A siyum masechet. Someone, Baruch Hashem, finished the masechet in the Talmud, and he wants to make a party. Don't do it on Friday. Put it on Friday night. I don't know. Put it later. Put it at a different time. You don't have to. It's not like, oh, I have to do it now. Or let's say a seudah of chatana kala. A person is allowed to get married on Friday. Imagine Friday noon, they make a chatuna, they make a wedding. They could do it, but the seudah, leave it for the night. In Europe, that's how it was. They didn't have money. So they would make the seudah, they would make the wedding on Friday afternoon, before Shabbat. And then they would go into Shabbat. They would have their Shabbat meal, kill 2 birds with 1 shot. And the seudah for the wedding on Friday night.
Rosh Chodesh, if it's on Friday, is okay to have some?
Rosh Chodesh, it's a good question. Yeah, but there you don't need to have a big seudah. A person should have it like a good, nice, king-size breakfast, and that's it. Yeah, that would be good. What else is there? So we said the seudah of Chatan Kala. Oh, and another good thing is that they would do it. You know, when people are getting married, so it's called the seudah. It's a shiduchim. It's called where they make tenaim. So the two sides, the side of the Chatan and the side of the Kala, get together, and they usually bring someone, an important person that they will listen to, and they will sit down and they will decide, who's paying for what, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, this way, and they write everything down. They write the Tanaim, they write everything down, and Kili Lili, Mazal Tov, and they have a Seudah. That Seudah is not such an important Seudah. So therefore, that's not such a big deal to do on Friday, because they just have some little things, L'chaim and this, that will be fine, because it's not a real Seudah, and the Seudah Tanaim they call it. So the Tanaim, that is fine to do on Friday. Good. Now, there is a mitzvah, I'm just throwing halachot one after the other. There is a mitzvah to taste the food that you cook for Shabbat, to make sure that they are proper, and if they need anything or not. Some people, they overdo it. They make a whole meal out of it. Like, you come Friday night, you're out of Choresh. What happened? Like, there's a mitzvah to taste. You know the famous joke, not a joke, it was a story, it was Rav Yonatan Eibshitz. As we know, he was extremely sharp. And when he was a kid, he would go and eat, on Friday he would eat the meal. So his father caught him one time. He says, "What are you doing, Yonatan?" He says, "What do you mean? I'm doing a mitzvah." It says, those who taste from Shabbat, they get good life. Right? He says, ones who taste, he says, don't forget, right after that it says, those who love it, they even take a bigger piece. Like, he was playing with the words, and that was the thing. But in reality, a person should check to make sure that the food is good. It's just like you're preparing a meal for someone who's extremely important. Like, you're not going to just serve the food without tasting it before, and make sure that everything is perfect. So it says, Kabbalistically even, it says that a person could do it. Now the question becomes, let's say it's in the 9 days, right? In the 9 days, you are allowed to eat meat on Shabbat. But how about on Friday? Can you eat the meat on Friday? To taste the food?
Yes.
Yes, because you're not really eating it, you're just tasting. Tasting is not considered eating, and a person should and could, even during that time. It says that a person could do it. I think we did discuss this when we were talking about Halachot Shabbat, and yes, so therefore it is allowed, and it's a mitzvah for a person, yes.
How about fasting?
That's a good one. So the only fast that comes out to be on Friday would be Asara B'Tevet, right? So even then, a person could just taste it. And Korean Poskim said, just spit it out. Taste it to make sure that it's fine, it's good, the taste is fine, and then spit it out.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's no joke.
What about an oven?
How about what?
An oven.
An oven is a minhag only, not to eat meat. Some communities eat meat when they're oven, so that's fine. They could have other people taste it. That's not a problem. There's another fast also, like, it shouldn't be at the wrong time, but when a person, the day of the yahrzeit, the day of the soul of someone who passed away, father or mother, is a good minhag to fast on that day. And this fast has to be accepted the day before, and so on and so forth. It's a good thing to fast if a person is healthy enough.
It
shouldn't be a neder. What? On a Hebrew day, right? On the Hebrew day, it's a good thing. It's a good custom to fast. The person should say beli neder though. Much easier. But whatever it is, so if it falls to be on Friday, it's fine. It's fine to fast then. But, the best thing, let's say Asara B'Tevet. Let's stick to Asara B'Tevet. If Asara B'Tevet falls on Friday, it was like that 3 years ago, I believe. I'm not sure what's going to be the next year. I haven't looked at the calendar, but so the best thing to do over there in that case, which is most shuls, is what they do. They pray mincha and read earlier, so by the time they get home, you don't want to go in on Shabbat while you're fasting. So as early as possible, they try to get out of the fast, and that's in the winter anyway. It's a short fast, but anyway, that's the halacha. But other fasts do not fall on Friday. Okay, we said enough about eating, not eating Friday. Let's move over. It says in the Gemara that a person should prepare himself physically for Shabbat. One thing that they wrote is that a person should cut his nails. A person should cut their nails on Friday, right? If they know they're not going to have time on Friday, they could even do it on Thursday. Although it says that a person's nails will grow within 3 days, that's fine, right?
Why is it good to cut it on Friday?
Kavod of Shabbat. This whole thing is for the Kavod of Shabbat. There is also a Kabbalistic side to it. It says, first of all, it says in the Gemara that a person should not throw their cut nails onto the ground, onto the floor. It says that a Rasha will throw them onto the ground. I think I hope I'm quoting it right. And a tzaddik will bury them, and a chassid will burn them. I remember there was a guy who was a great tzaddik in the yeshiva. He would dig a hole in the ground, he would put him there and burn him in the hole, like, wow. They were big chassid tzaddik. I wonder if he's still Jewish.
Can you throw it in the garbage?
In the garbage? No. They say you should flush it.
In the toilet?
Yeah, that's what they say. But while we're at it, I wasn't going to say, but if it does fall on the floor, so a person that cut their nails, like, they're not sure where they are. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, like, you start counting, like, oh no, one is missing. So sweep the area. They will only hurt the place where they landed. If you move them, then they won't hurt. Hurt, I mean, in a spiritual sense. Hurt, don't poke you. But whatever it is that they do, like, they won't do if you move them. So sweep, like, okay, fine. Now it's not where it landed, so you're good. That's number one. Number two, there's a few different halachot. There are some people, actually the Rama brings it, that a person, when they're cutting the nail, they go like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. They do not in order. They say don't do it in order. Don't quote me. I'm not sure. I think let's not record this, but I think the reason is that they say when the person after 120 years they die, like, so that then they cut it in order. So for Ayin Hara, whatever it is, not to do it. That's one thing. And on that they say Arya Kadosh was not careful with this thing. He would do it in order. Archida brings it, others bring it, so therefore that's out the window. Another thing that they say is not to cut both hand and feet on the same day as well. They bring that down too. That also, Archida brings down, it says Arya Kadosh was not, he would do both on the same day, even at night, right? Some people they say don't cut your nails at night. All of these are what he brings down, it says they are fine. Okay? So that's as far as cutting.
Do Ashkenazim keep a foot by
Some
nose?
Ashkenazim, yeah, they do.
Where did I get it from?
They don't do it in order. So a lot of Ashkenazim.
They don't do it at
Ashkenazi.
night, or maybe that's a Persian.
That's also Ashkenazi. It could be Persian also, but
So when you're getting ready for the mikvah, you have to cut all your nails,
right,
hands, and
right.
feet.
Yeah, that's for the mitzvah. So when it's for the mitzvah, then forget it. That's all of these things are out. We're talking about under normal circumstances. Then even then, they're saying that's fine. Ari Hakadosh, at the same time, he warned, like, he writes in a few different places. Ben Ish Chai brings it down also about the punishment of a person that grows their nails long, like, and you know what? There is a story. Orchot Chaim brings it, and there's another sefer also. I forget. They bring it. A few different people bring it. There was a story with a big chacham that after he passed away, one of his students sees him in his dream, and his color is not really that good. He asked him, "What's wrong, Rebbe? Why are you not, yourself?" He said 3 things. One is that he wasn't careful about cutting his nails. That means he let it grow. And the other one was that he spoke at the time that in the tzibur, they were Friday night after Arvit, when everybody's saying Vaychulu, and they're saying that Beracha after Shemon Esrei, he would talk. He talked to someone. And then another one was he spoke during the time that they were saying Kaddish. These 3 things. The first story about the nail is not brought down in the tour. In many places I looked, it's not brought down with the nail. The other 2, yes, they're brought down, and how much a person has to be careful not to speak at all during the time of Kaddish, because what are we saying? So they are saying the greatness of Hashem. This guy is talking, right? This person is talking. That means I don't care about what they're saying. So it's a very big disgrace to the name of Hashem, and whatever. So he was saying that he was punished, basically. They bring Orchot Chaim brings the story that about the nail also. That was part of the story that it brings down, which I hadn't seen in other places. But okay. Anyway, so Mekubalim were very, 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 very stringent about this whole story. They say even Erev Tisha B'Av, that everybody is in Avelut mourning. If your nails are over your skin, cut them. They're very, very strong about this.
And this for women too?
For everyone. They said it for everyone.
Women shouldn't have long nails.
Long nails, right? Long nails are just attraction for negative forces. It's a lot of Kabbalistic things.
Why is it like this?
This is Kabbalah.
Nails so is it because Adam Harishon I heard, or
I don't know. This is let's leave it for a different lecture.
what if, like, I heard also on Rosh Chodesh you're not allowed to cut your nails?
I haven't seen a hakbada like that.
No?
No.
Oh,
Rosh
yeah.
Chodesh has different halachot, but this is not one of them.
So you can't get your nails done so that they're long?
You mean let them grow and then I guess not. A little bit, I guess.
Okay.
Don't ask me, ask your posek. I don't want to cause anything.
Okay, so so you can't just go, how long?
They say as long as this, like, you look at it and it hasn't grown over the tip of the finger, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
It says me'ever labasar. It's like, over. Okay, now there's the Gemara says part of the kavod of Shabbat is that one should wash up, right, in hot or warm water, not hot, warm water for the kavod of Shabbat, and this has to be done on Friday. Otherwise, the person does it on Wednesday. It doesn't show much kavod for Shabbat. However, if let's say Friday is a very hectic day, appointment after appointment or whatever it is, and then a person has no choice. It's either don't shower for Shabbat or I don't know what. So then they could do it on Thursday night, right? Thursday night or even early Friday. But the closer to Shabbat that a person does it, it really shows more that it is done for Shabbat. If a person is not in a position, is not able to, or doesn't have the time, or whatever it is, at least they should wash their hands, feet, and face with soap and warm water for the kavod of Shabbat. That's very important. Like, that a person does this for Shabbat. The Gemara brings a story about one of the great Chachamim that this is what he would do back then. This is going back more than 2,000 years ago. That he would wash himself with hot water, and then he would mitatef. He says he would wrap himself. He would look like a malach of Hashem, and he would say, "Lechu v'nelcha likrat Shabbat." Let us go and greet Shabbat Malketa, Shabbat the Queen. These people understood what we're talking about. They understood Shabbat is. He says he would look like a malach of Hashem after this, like, when he would do this, because they would enter the realm of Shabbat. So it says in Halakha that it's best that a person will set aside special for Shabbat clothing, like, all the articles, every article of clothing should be special for Shabbat. Some say even shoes, right? There's a question if shoes are considered part of malbush or not. It's interesting. In Poskim, there's a lot of back and forth because there are two barachot in the barachot of the morning that have to do. One has to do with clothing, barachat Hashem, malbish arumim, right? The other baracha is shasali kol tzorki, that he did all my needs, and that baracha is about shoes. So it's separate barachot. So it could be shoes are not clothing, so therefore a person wears weekday shoes. But on that, Rabbi says it's better that a person should set aside special shoes also for Shabbat, if they can, right? And to make sure that they're clean, to check them out beforehand, because the point is to create that atmosphere at home, for ourselves and for our family, that there's something very, very, very special about to happen. Shabbat, right? That's what it is. You create policies, you create things, like, to bring that aura and that atmosphere for home, and
What if
brings
it's
the
shoes
bracha.
that you wear to a nice occasion?
That's good. That's fine, because that's a special pair of shoes. That's not a weekday shoes per se. That's fine. Even clothing, like, a suit. Person wears, like, for very special occasions. He sets it aside, but it's mainly, his intention is, this is my Shabbat suit, basically, as opposed to my weekday suit. That's the difference. All right, we shall, Bezat Hashem.